Buenos dias, cabrones. Bienvenidos al Continental. I'm just kidding, guys. It's just me. It's me. Yeah, I had to practice that for like 3 weeks, so hope you guys liked it. Anyways, welcome back to the Continental, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the Springfield Hellcat Pro. Now, just like the other video, we are going to give it a ranking system. In the past, Mr. Continental, he's going to go ahead and show you some shooting footage that looks really cool, and we're going to go ahead and give you our initial thoughts on that one. And then we're going to come back and give it our ranking system. Based off my initial thoughts is that I actually didn't like it, mainly for the fact of the trigger. I would feel like a lot of the felt recoil on my trigger finger, which is a bit weird. Maybe that's like a me thing. Now, as time progressed and I got like, a couple hundred rounds down the range, I was starting to appreciate it a lot more. Now, it's very thin. It's 1 inch thick compared to most pistols are like 1.3 or 1.4 inches thick. So that does make a big difference when you're carrying it, and you do feel the difference. Like if you go back to any like standard or subcompact pistol, like let's say a Glock 19, you do feel the thick, just the sheer girth. So it's a nice change of pace to have something a little bit slimmer. Initial thoughts is that I'm feeling pretty good about it. Now let's go ahead and go into the ranking system, and we can go ahead and talk about it a little bit more in detail. All right, guys, as always, we're going to go ahead and talk about the sights and attachments that the Hellcat Pro has going on for it. Now, right off the bat, it does come with Springfield's brand new U-notch rear. Maybe not brand new, it's been out for about a year or two, but immediately this is a vast improvement compared to like Glocks, like football, like field goal like looking sights. I really don't like those. They leave a lot to be desired, and a lot of people can agree since they do end up replacing them. However, the Springfield's website sights don't have that issue. I've been seeing people keeping them on, especially with this front sight where you got a nice clean high visibility sight with an internal night sight. Makes the sighting system work in pretty much all conditions. Day and night, you're gonna have a comfortable like line of sight no matter what time of day you're looking at. Now, it also does come with this mounting system. So the footprint for this Hellcat Pro is going to be an RMSE footprint. Now, that is going to limit your options a little bit. You're not going to be able to have like some full-size red dots, of course, because it's not a full-size handgun. But you should be aware that you are going to be a bit limited, although there are plenty of options where you can add, smaller red dots. Just make sure to double check your footprints before you guys buy anything. Now, as far as attachments, like any other gun, you do have a Picatinny rail right here. And unlike the SIG 365, it's not a proprietary rail. Standard Picatinny, you can add like TLRs on it, or Streamlight TLR flashlights on it, which of course I have. As you can see, it has some use on it. Overall, what you would want from a pistol, you got it pretty much right out the gate, especially if you get Springfield's Gear Up package. I'm not sponsored, by the way. I'm just, passing on the information. They'll give you a red dot, a couple extra mags, and a gun case if you're interested in that. Now, as far as aftermarket parts, of course, you do have plenty. You always have Apex triggers, and then you have extended controls. I haven't been able to find too many good mag wells, although I'm not really sure if you would want one in a concealed carry pistol. Could give a little bit of a print. But if you guys know of any, please leave it down in the chat. We really do like the sights and the attachments, like possibilities that you do have with this gun. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10. Now, moving on to the price point, quite affordable, especially if you take into account the Gear Up package. Now, we're not gonna take into account the Gear Up package. That's like a whole separate thing. I don't even know if it's still going on. But the base price of the gun is quite affordable, not very much expensive than a Glock. Typically, depending on your state or where you're buying it from, you're going to be looking at about maybe $620 to $650. Now, that is quite affordable, especially given, it's competition with Smith & Wesson 2.0s, and you got like SIG 320s. Not that you would buy one. Am I right? Nah, you guys like seeing, your chest cavity intact. Or, of course, you have, Glocks, you got Berettas. So it puts it within a very affordable and kind of comfortable price range. So for that reason, we're going to go ahead and put it at a 6 out of 10. Although it is quite affordable, could always be better. But, I mean, of course, guns could be free. So moving on to the biggest section of the ranking system, we're going to be talking about comfortability, practicality, weight, and reload. As far as comfortability, I don't know how I can really convey this to you, but what I can say is that it's very comfortable. You would think that the thinner frame of the gun would make it like maybe a little bit too small, but I've had people much larger than me guys who are like 6'4", and they're able to comfortably hold this gun and not give too many complaints about kind of what's going on with, like, you know, their grip. It's not falling off, like, especially with, like, some people tend to complain about the Glock 19 with their pinky hanging off just like a tad, or like on the edge of it hanging off. You really don't feel this at all with Hellcat Pro, which is great because it's a 3.7 inch barrel and a 3.7 inch grip, so it's just a hair bit longer than the standard Hellcat. So if you're looking for something truly, completely concealable, Hellcat's the way to go. But if you want something more in the middle ground, I would say Hellcat Pro. We can't really compare the two side by side since we don't have a Hellcat at the moment. As far as practicality, extremely practical. It achieves everything it sets out to do. You have a great sighting system, high visibility, night sight, comfortable U-notch rear. You do have an optic cut. You have a mounting option for your flashlight, and then of course you have a trigger safety, which wouldn't make sense. It's something that many people are very comfortable with too, especially since most people's first guns are Glocks. So you're going to feel very comfortable and right at home with the Hellcat. Now, as far as reload, these magazines are kind of like a sleek aluminum metal, and that might not mean much, but what it achieves is that it allows you to have a very smooth reload. I don't know if you guys have reloaded the Smith & Wesson's like SDVEs, but their magazines are plastic, and they tend to create a lot of friction, and they'll just get stuck, or when you drop the mag, they'll get stuck. So the quality of the magazines does make a big difference when it comes to how viable or how comfortable or quick you can make your reload. So I really do appreciate that they put time and effort into making quality magazines and a great reloading system. Now, as far as weight, easy. Hit the gym. I don't know what to tell you. No, really, real talk, it's not very heavy. Now, of course, you're going to have like micro 9s that are going to be a little bit lighter than this. You'll always find a gun that's a little bit lighter. The balance of the gun, kind of, if you can see it, it's empty right now, but it tends to ride forward. So it is a bit front heavy, but if you consider that you're not going to be carrying this gun around empty, you're going to be carrying it around with a loaded magazine, then the weight of your firearm becomes a lot more balanced, which is good. That's what you want. So overall, with everything that we just said, we're going to go ahead and give this section an 8 out of 10. It really did impress us while leaving a little bit to desire. You always try to shoot for perfection, but you don't always get it. Of course, we have to talk about the performance of the gun. Now, the grouping was quite tight. When I was shooting it, I didn't feel like I had to relearn a new gun. It really felt comfortable, especially if you're previous Glock owners. And all my targets were within a small grouping, all A-zone, and you know, of course, it's very reliable. I haven't had any jams, I haven't had any issues, and everything about the gun, even unlubricated, it works like a race car. So I really do like the overall performance of this, especially given that it's meant to be used as like a concealed carry option. It's not gonna hold up against something like a Beretta or like a, you know, a CZ Shadow or like a Staccato or something, and that's why we're gonna go ahead and give this a 6 out of 10 because it is good, but it's not anything amazing. And something I do have to mention, it's a small part. This has actually happened to me quite a few times. Perhaps it's the way that I'm pulling the trigger, but I actually will develop blisters on the bottom part of my trigger finger because my trigger finger, after I pull it, the trigger will kind of catch my skin, like on the reset, and then I'll get like a little bit of a little boo boo, little Mr. Continental boo boo, and it'll just make me cry. But you know, it is what it is. It's the price that you pay when you, I don't know, go to the range. Now, last but not least, the cool factor. Now, if you guys remember, everything else on this ranking system is out of 10, but this one's can be out of 5. Now, for the cool factor, I am going to give it a 1 because it is a great concealed carry option. And you know, what's cooler than talking to a dude and he just quick draws like some sleek, like futuristic, sexy polymer Springfield pistol. Probably quite a few things, but it's up there. But yeah, so given its concealability, we have to give it a point. Now, of course, there's nothing overtly special about it. It's a polymer striker fire pistol, but it does that well. And if you're looking for a gun, what more could you want, you know, outside of reliability? So I'm quite comfortable. I'm quite happy with this this gun. I've been having a lot of fun putting rounds down range, and it's, as of currently, it's actually my go-to pistol. So that has a lot to say, especially given that I have a Glock 19 Gen 5. So, you know. All right, so given that whole ramble, schizophrenic rambling, basically what we concluded is that this gun, Springfield Hellcat Pro, gets a Mr. Continental 28 out of 40. So those of you that are good at math, we all know that's a 27 out of 10. No, I'm just kidding. That is a 7 out of 10 coming from Mr. Continental. That's a ranking system for the Hellcat Pro. And we hope that we were able to answer all you guys' questions. If there's anything that we missed, or if, you know, if you guys were like, hey, you know, you're not right about that, keep it to yourself. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead and put it in the chat. We'd love to have a conversation with you guys. We really appreciate you guys always coming out and supporting the videos. And we will see you guys in the next video. See ya. Have a good one. Hey, you want to go ahead and get some pizza?